Good evening, and thanks for tuning in to Injustice Investigations. Of course, I'm your host, Al Scott. This evening, we continue our coverage of Maleah Davis in Houston, Texas. It is one of the most diabolical, despicable crimes of all time. A child placed in the hands of evil, the ones that should have been loving her and protecting her from stranger danger were the ones that was extremely evil to 4-year-old Maleah Davis. This case, not just this country, this case has the world attention. It's almost as if this little girl has us all at a standstill. And tonight, I have invited from Houston Unsolved Homicides, Mr. John Marsden. I hope I didn't eat your last name up too bad. I apologize, but he has been there from day one. He's been in the thick of it. He's going to discuss some things with us tonight. I want you to be mindful that, John, this is still an ongoing investigation, so there are some things that he cannot talk about and he will not talk about, but you can ask whatever question you wish to ask. Now, if you answer it, is another thing. So we're glad to have you here tonight, John. I know you are extremely busy, but I thank you for accepting the invite to come on the show tonight.
Yes, sir.
And Tawana, I know you're out there somewhere, Paris. I thank you as well. She has been a tremendous help to me on this case, and I've covered a many cases. But this is the only child that has gotten my undivided attention to where all other cases have been put to the side. John, how you doing this evening, man?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for accepting the invite. As I told you earlier, when I started covering this here, I've received so many emails. Talk to John, talk to John, talk to John. So now we finally have you here on the show, and it's my pleasure to have you here. But I want to start from the beginning when you got involved and get us up to like, how do we get to this point? And I know, again, there are some things that you cannot share with us, and so we're okay with that. But how did you get involved in this case?
Well, I got involved. Pretty much, I saw the incident on TV, on the news, and I reached out to Brittany at first, but she didn't reply. So I reached out to Jeanette, and she replied back within a few minutes. So I decided to meet him at the mall, First Colony Mall, where they were passing out flyers. And there was a lot of people out there passing out flyers. And I advocate to Brittany to speak her story, share your story, let people fight for your daughter. It's about your daughter. And I explained to her, fight. If this man took your daughter's life, you need to advocate and fight for her so the community could back you all the way.
Yeah, because I know you spent some time with her, and I know you speak with her over the phone sometimes there and stuff. But and as you said, she's had a spokesperson, but I think the public would like to hear from the mother sometimes, and because I mean, he can tell the story, but if we are ever going to feel the story, feel her emotions, then I think sometimes we need to hear it from Brittany.
Your phone went off for a second.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. I think the public is they're upset with Brittany. That's no secret. Mainly because it's okay to have a spokesperson, but I think sometimes the public want to hear from the mother herself so that they can feel her emotions. Because Mr. X can tell the story, but if we are to believe the story and feel the story, I think it would be best felt coming from Brittany Bowens.
Yes. By talking to her once, she's afraid for her safety.
Okay.
Pretty much no one really speak to her because she don't like to speak on camera.
Okay.
You know, that's why she wanted Mr. X, Corner X, to represent her. She's in pain. She's in pain. She says she missed her daughter. She says that she loved her. She wished that she could be at her side right now. But I told her this is stuff that we need to know in the community. We need to know from her voice, not from mine or Mr. X, from her point of view, how she feels. You know, people always ask why she's not defending her daughter, why she's defending Darren. I don't know those answers because I didn't come into this to pick her brain about anything. I came to look for her daughter. You know, we've been searching from the 6th of May until past Friday, looking for her daughter, passing out flowers. But it just happened to be that Maleah captured all of our hearts in the world.
Exactly.
She became our daughters in our household. Exactly. So at the same time, a lot of people been reaching out with questions, but I can't answer certain questions because I don't want to say something and it's not true, or say something is true. You know, I don't really have much to go on her. You know.
Right, and you know, a lot of questions they have, but one I think is probably at the top of the list, and I don't know if you've had an opportunity to speak with her about this, is when she alleges that Darren and Vince had been molesting her daughter. And so the public wants to know if that would be true, then why would she continue to allow him to be there with the child? And not only that, John, why would she leave town and leave 4-year-old Maleah Davis with him if that would be the case?
Yeah, I have the same question, but in conversation with her, she don't question. Okay. You know, she would just dwell on crying for her daughter and just wishing she was there. You know, when you're in a relationship with someone, it's hard to say if you should leave that daughter with that special someone and go out of town and come back. It happens every day. But if this person is molesting your child, I don't care if it's male or female, that person shouldn't be around at all. Okay. If you should never be in a relationship like that's going to tear your family apart.
Okay. Yeah. And you've been out there every day. You've been looking. I think what was it? Echo Search called it off for a day or two. Am I right? What was going on with that?
Say it again. I heard Echo Search.
Did Echo Search call a search off for a day or so because they didn't have more leads to go on, or did they continue to search?
They continue to search. It wasn't a big search party like they had before, because there were no leads. Brittany was not talking because she said she didn't know the answers to what Darren did. She wasn't there, but Darren holds all the key, you know. So he's not communicating with anyone. He's in silence. I mean, while they stop for a minute and cut back on their crew, you know, we still search every day. We look all over. I know one day we were searching off Kirkwood and Bissonnette in a field, and someone pulled up in a car and yelled out, "They found her! They found her!" I think that was a distraction. I think we were close. I believe that Maleah has been moved several times. I think that I personally feel like someone keep on moving her. Yeah. I felt that. So I felt someone moving her around.
Okay. So I want to make sure I'm getting a clear understanding where her body was found the other day in Fulton, Arkansas, correct?
I thought Fulton, close to Hope County, I guess. I'm not sure.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Area.
And now, and there's been some discrepancies about that as well. But you are the first one, I know we talked about it earlier, that says that you don't believe the body was always there, that somebody may have moved it there. So do you think, go ahead.
Think about it. She disappeared, say, from the 3rd of May. And now they found her body a month later in that location. And in that county, they do maintenance at least once or twice a week, cutting the grass beside the highway.
Yes.
There's no way you have that back there for a whole month sitting there. It's not possible. It is possible, but if they clean up every week, like they claim to clean up the highway every week in that county, that bag should not have been there. I believe someone recently put that bag there this week, this past. Whoever is involved in this will get fully prosecuted because, like I said, that bag was even too far away off the it seems like it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you have a road crew that cleans up every week for the past 4 weeks, they would have seen that bag there a long time ago.
Well, I would have to agree with you on that. And here's something else that's kind of perplexing to me is that, now, if I'm wrong, stop me and let me know. I may have the events wrong here. Is that allegedly, maybe 2 days before the body was found, a road crew was out, and they stumbled upon a black garbage bag that had blood coming out of it with worms, and I think someone may have went to touch it, and the supervisor said something to the extent about leave it alone. That's not uncommon for people to put their dogs in bags or whatever animals and leave them out here. And I think 2 days later they returned, and accidental hit the bag and they stopped. And then, they discover that there's something on the inside because it has a foul odor. Now, and I may be wrong about this, but I think this is the same day, allegedly, that Cornell X comes forward and says he met with the ex-fiance Darren Bentz in jail, and that he confessed to him and told him where he could find the body at. Can you elaborate on that, please?
Well, Mr. Cornell X he's been doing this a long time. I respect him to the fullest. Mm-hmm. He had a certain technique that he used, to get Mr. Darren to speak. Because remember, Darren, he didn't speak to the detectives, he didn't speak to the attorney, and that was, he didn't speak to anyone. The only person he spoke to was to his brother, really. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if he had the chance to break Darren Vince, man, I applaud 100% because it takes somebody strong to do that. And he proved to the community that he's a strong man to break Darren Vince. I applaud Mr. Corner X for the work he did, and I just love what he did to bring Maleah home. But it's just so much answers, so much questions need to be answered. I'm sorry, we have a lot of questions that need to be answered. So in the day, hopefully, they just sent the news about 20 minutes ago that charges should be upgraded from Darren, possibly murder. So court July 10th. So I'll be there July 10th. And I think it's going to be a packed house July 10th. Because
Go ahead.
I don't know if Darren knows. I'm pretty sure now this is very serious. If he was playing games before, I'm pretty sure he'll stop playing games. Because remember, he's 26 years old with no criminal history. He has a clean record. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't sit because people say, why would he do this? Why would a man that claims he loves this little girl do this to her? But before, and about 3 weeks ago, after he turned himself in, they said he said he moved the body. He didn't murder her. So we just waiting for the truth to come out right now.
Right, because he's only been charged with tampering with evidence, and that being a corpse, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and someone said, and I think I shared this with you earlier today, they were on my Facebook page, and they said, well, there's some questions as to how Cornell X may or may not have received the information about what the body was. And one lady said something, and very, very small statement, but I agree 1,000,000,000% with her. She said, well, either way, I'm glad the body has been found.
Yes.
And I agree with her on that. But if we go into the law perspective of it, if it wasn't done correctly, it could damage the case.
Yes.
Because allegedly he introduced himself allegedly now as an attorney, and he went and he spoke with Darren Vince and received the information from him. Now, a couple of days before that, he was representing Brittany, and then they separated for whatever reason there may be. Okay, about 48 hours later, he goes and speaks with Darren Vince, the man who he has been standing on top of the highest mountain saying he molested the child and he killed the child and he dismembered the child. And Darren Vince is still not cooperating with law enforcement. So the public is like, well, why would he cooperate with Cornell X? Not trying to take anything from him, because heaven backing me up, I'm glad Maleah's body was found. But we can sometimes be in a rush. Go ahead. We can sometimes be in a rush to convict someone, and we can mess up the investigation.
Yes. I don't know all of Cornell tactics, like I said, but all we see from the viewer's eyes is what the media present to a lot of people.
Exactly.
And sometimes the truth is withheld because they can't get all the information out, like you said, brother, to damage the case. Exactly. I don't know Darren Vince personally. I don't know Brittany Bowens personally. I just met Brittany on the 6th of May.
Okay.
So by me, I'm out there all the time, and the crew we have, the search team we put together, we all people from the community came together as family. All I get is a thank you and appreciate what you're doing for finding my daughter. She do thank me all the time. And I could go by what she say because I don't know her. So right now, so far, you don't know if Brittany is innocent or guilty because all the evidence points back on Darren. Exactly. He's the one taking the blame 100% for what he's doing. Okay. He said where the body is at, and they went to location, and it was the exact hit where they found the body. Okay. And it seems like he's still taking the blame all the way. So what is he covering up? I don't know. What is he hiding? We don't know. Not even Mr. X know. Not even the detective know what he's hiding. So is he protecting someone, or is he's not? And that's what we need to know in the next few weeks to come.
Exactly. Yeah. And I have to applaud you as well, because you've been out there, and this is not new to you. You've been doing this for a while now and stuff, but with this case, you have been out there and you are well respected in Houston, Texas, because I have the emails to prove it, that your word to the people is good. I don't know if you can see their comments now. They're saying thank you. They're saying, Priest John, I agree with you, John. And so they believe in you, and they thank you for the work that you're doing. And I know you have a genuine concern for what's going on, just like I do and others. And you're right. I mean, it's so many stories, twists and turns. You don't know what to believe.
Yes. I know Mr. X, Mr. Corner X. People criticize him but in the day, I don't know the man. Like that. I've been watching his work for years, and I've seen him crack a lot of cases that people can't even touch or get information. And it's just the end of the day that we actually did the work together as a community, and fought, and we brought the notifications keep on freezing us up. We brought her home. But now can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead now.
The next issue is the funeral arrangements. When is it going to be? Is it going to be on which side of the family going to do it, or is the city going to do it? I think the city might go ahead and do the funeral arrangements, if I'm correct, because someone told me that earlier today. But I think this. I'm sorry, all the notifications. Everybody trying to tag questions, but I think everyone needs to be at this funeral to remember her, to keep her name going. I applaud everyone out there that's doing the balloon release and the walks and the teddy bears, because we're keeping her name alive.
Exactly.
And this is a lesson learned. Because as parents, we need to protect our children. You could be with someone 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, and never know the hidden secret.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
why as parents, we need to give our kids safe words. So when that child feel like that child's in danger, the child say, "Mom, Dad," give that safe word so you know that they're in danger, and listen to your children.
Exactly.
Maleah been through a lot, and I went to City Hall Wednesday. I broke down crying outside. Sunday at church. I broke down crying at church on Sunday because the pain is real. The pain really hurts. When I look at her banner, I hurt because that could have been my child, your child.
Exactly.
And I think that in our community, we need to start coming together more often and fight for what's right. If you, all you mothers out there, if you have a husband, a fiance, or boyfriend that are molesting or abusing your child, stand up. The same thing with the fathers. If you're a father, have a girlfriend, a wife, or fiance out there, stand up for your child. And do what's right, because this is a prime example of when a child get neglected, the things that happen to her is unbearable. It would tear your mind, your body, and soul apart. But I just pray to God that I just buzzing in. I just pray to God that Darren Vince just speak the truth about what happened. If he's involved by itself, just let it be that way.
Right.
And if he's not, just hey man, this is why, because he's facing something very serious right now. He might think he's getting away with murder, but he's not. He might think he's still getting charged with tampering with a corpse, but he's not. He led Mr. Corner X to the body. So everything falls back on him now. Now, will he be a man and step forward? If you love Maleah, speak, do the right thing.
I've seen several pictures of Darren Vince and Maleah together, and all the pictures that I have seen, they both look extremely happy together.
Yes.
And as you said, this man does not have a criminal record. For what we know, he has been a law-abiding citizen. We've heard some good things about him, some great things. Now we're hearing some terrible things about him. And I think that's another reason why some people find it hard to believe that he would hurt her, because of the relationship that was that you look at when you see them on pictures together.
Yes, sir. The pictures I saw is happy moments that a parent love a child. The picture we seen, it showed no danger. She's in zero danger at all that we know of, because we're looking from the outside.
Exactly.
And everyone asked the same thing, or I said the same thing. There's so much happiness within both of them. The laughs at the beach. There's a video with him at the beach. There's a video with him at the beach when they were having fun, moments of joy.
Exactly.
That's why it's very hard for people to understand why did he hurt this young lady.
I know. And I don't know if the public know this here, but I want you to share with them what you shared with me earlier about a cousin that's was out there helping you all look for the body. I mean, I don't think that's gotten out yet.
Yes. Maleah's father's cousin, Misha, she's been out every single day searching. I mean, when I say we talk on the phone 3-4 times a day, if when we get off from searching, even now, V and Misha, they search every day and they will not stop. They want the answers. They want to find Maleah, and now they're at peace a little bit right now, but they just want the truth. But Misha been out every day searching. And that's what she don't like to really talk a lot unless she has to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But her drive is very strong because she's doing it for her family, doing it for a love for her cousin.
We go ahead.
Misha Mendoza, she's been searching every single day, and she's still advocating for her cousin.
Amen. They're saying that it might be impossible to determine how Maleah Davis was killed. Do you know why that might be?
My understanding is because of I think the truck ran over her, or she got cut by the machine. I remember, I think it was the truck that do the landscaping, if I'm correct. But it's gonna be hard, man. It's gonna be hard. That's why I said someone placed that bag there. Someone put that bag there in the past week. You know, that bag was not there for the whole month. And I really hope that the detectives, they go from 2 mile to at least a 10 to 12 mile radius and look at every camera that drive down that road to see what car drove. And then from that car, they could look on the family and see what family helped to move that body over there.
Because I think I heard someone say yesterday or the day before that whatever happened, they had to have help with doing it.
Yes.
And stuff. So why?
Because if they're
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, so why do you think, if it's true, that Darren drove her body from Houston to Arkansas? Why do you think he did that? If he did it?
If he did it, I think he was trying to get rid of the body out of state.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I don't think he moved it that far. I think someone moved it for him. Okay. That's my gut is telling me that. Mm-hmm. Because a whole month went by and these guys, the county mowed along at least once or twice a week, or do cleanup every week, once or twice every 3 days. There's no way they skip past that bag. There's no way. If he's incarcerated right now, mm-hmm. and he just found that bag in Arkansas on the side of the road, that means someone moved that body, moved that bag, and put it over there.
Wow.
That's what I believe, because mm-hmm. it's a whole month, man. Right. And I think it was a sheriff or the spokesman. I just said that they clean every 3 or 4 days, something like that, once a week. Mm-hmm. There's no way. You know, so the detective need to go and look at all these cameras, not at a 1 mile radius, but go further back, and try to find whichever camera has the infrared light. If there's cameras on the highway, try to take your time and build a case and see what car drove that far to put Maleah out there. Because I believe she's been moved a few times from Houston to where she's at, right, where they found her at last Friday.
Mm-hmm. When you speak with Brittany, do you ever address the issue with her about her time? Well, there's a gap at things are not adding up. And some people are saying she was there. Some are saying she's saying she left. She's at the airport. She was gone. Some are saying that I saw her here and I saw her there.
Yes, she stated that she was out of town for the whole time. When she took the flight for her father's funeral, mm-hmm. and she stated when she came back, he wasn't there to pick her up, and that's basically it. She just flew out of town, mm-hmm. and after the father's funeral, and she had no idea what Darren was at until mm-hmm. they located him, pretty much. So I don't know if that's true or false, because she don't go in detail. She just thanked me for looking out for her daughter. Thank mm-hmm. the crew, tell everybody, I said thanks for out there searching for her child and passing out the flyers.
When you speak with her, you see her, has she ever shedded a tear that you thought was genuine?
Well, she's over the phone. So I don't know if it's real or fake because she's over the phone. Okay. When I did see her to shoot the first 3 days, the 6th, 7th, and 8th, when she was helping pass some flyers out, she got emotional a few times. But after that, we've been speaking on the phone every once in a while. That's really it.
Okay, was she at the airport when the plane landed with Maleah on it?
I don't know because I was asleep when the plane landed.
Okay.
All I knew is that they were flying out to Arkansas, and I woke up the next morning. I saw the clip that the plane flew in late that night or early that morning. Not sure.
Okay. Now, in August of last year, CPS took the children because of alleged allegations against her and the baby's biological father, Craig Davis. Now, they couldn't determine how her injuries kept occurring. So they sent her back. They sent Maleah back. I don't think she had them for 90 days. Do you think CPS and Judge Lopez should have sent Maleah back home?
With the I haven't seen the injuries, but I heard of it like everyone did. I think, but you know what? When you have parents and abuse their kids, it's every city, every state, they go through these parenting classes. They go through assessment classes. They go through therapy, anger management classes. And when you finish those classes, the judge determines if the child go back or not to the environment. Of course, they come out and inspect your house to make sure everything is in proper place. And I think sometimes that these judges need to take better consideration and evaluate. There should be a bill that gives the parents enough time to actually, instead of rushing to a parenting class, you go once a week for 2 months. It should be more than that for 1 hour, 2 hours. It should be more than just 8 to 10 weeks of parenting class or 3 sessions, 4 sessions of therapy or anger management for 2 months. It should be more than that. When that child's in danger, they need to place that child in a proper home, somewhere that child was safe and be protected. I think that they need to change the laws because you think about it, CPS, the caseworkers, there's a high turnover rate because the workers that get attached to some of these cases, it's too emotional for them, so they quit.
Okay.
And I don't think that a lot of workers, when they go in these homes and they start talking to the parents and the family, see these kids and go through these trials, they get emotional. But same time, the judge needs to start making better decisions because a lot of times the good parent, the good fathers and mothers fight for these kids and they don't get them. The ones that are abusing these kids get the kids, and they have to make a better judgment. It's hard to say because the judge probably don't. The judge didn't know that this was going to happen. But from the injuries that she had, he should have made a better decision and made a better, put her in a better home that she would be protected because not only Maleah is affected now her brother is affected by this later on in life.
Exactly. But, when I first started covering this case, a lady came on, a social worker. Never met her before in my life. And the first words that she said made me just stand still. She said something like, I knew this was going to be the end result for this child. So I knew then she knew the case. She knew what had happened to Maleah down the line. And what I think the judge should have done, Judge Lopez, when CPS do a report and they pass it to the judge, then it's up to the judge to say, okay, we'll send the child back, or the child, will go back in foster care till we can, see if we can come up with another resolution. Now, allegedly, the doctors said they could not determine how the injuries occurred to Maleah. Well, and that might be true, but here's what I think the judge should have done because she is the yay and the nay of the courtroom. What Judge Lopez should have did is say, well, I'll tell you what, this is not a scrape. This is not a bump on the head, a scrape on the knee, like a little black eye or something. These are life-threatening injuries to Maleah Davis. I mean, there's blood outside of the brain. Half the skull, has to be taken out. So when the doctor said we can't determine how they happen. I understand that. Well, here's what Judge Lopez should have done. Well, until I can figure out what happened, the child stays in our care. Judge Lopez should have then sent the child to another hospital to let somebody else evaluate the child to see if they can find something different. Does that do you agree with that?
Yes, he should have. I think, yeah, you're 100% correct. I think that sometimes we need to get more than one judge involved in this to analyze the case. You know, a lot of times they might make the right decision or a bad decision, but it's all the law. You complete these courses. A lot of times you get your kids back, regardless of the crime you did. You know, but I think that Maleah's situation should never happen. But you never determine if this child is going to be harmed or not after they walk out their courtroom with their parents. You never know. So when somebody say this was going to be the outcome, I mean, if they knew it was going to be the outcome, why didn't you say something? Why don't you fight harder to protect her? Exactly. And that's the problem. Everybody say, if I knew this was going to happen, I knew. Well, stand up and say something. Stand up and fight.
Yeah, and John, I have to agree with you on that, because even though it wasn't her case, we could say, look, I'm gonna sound the alarm. I'm not in agreement with it. I don't want the blood on my hands. I just think it's a bad decision. I don't care. I mean, if it's a judge or not, if the judge does not always make the right decisions. Now,
yes, sir.
This is the end result of this. And, you know, as I said earlier, it's a very disturbing, diabolical crime. And it has caught the world's attention, what has happened to this little girl. And I cried, and I wasn't supposed to do it. I was embarrassed to talk about it earlier. I cried on air, and I done. I wasn't supposed to do that. But I wanted them to find her, John. And when they did, I was pissed because of how allegedly Darren said it happened. When he took her there, got out the car, got the bag out, and he just tossed her like she was just garbage.
Yes.
And I sat and I cried like it's my child. I'm like, why? It's not a damn thing Maleah could have ever done to deserve any of what had been inflicted on her. But there were other kids in the home, but it was always Maleah.
Yes.
And I mean, do you find that strange?
Yeah, that's very strange, because the one child is getting injured, but the other two is not. I know I had a lady reach out to me a couple weeks ago. She said she'd been through the same situation with a friend of hers, where it was vice versa. The father didn't want he didn't want boys. He wanted girls only.
Oh, okay.
You see? So I guess from his trauma, from his childhood growing up. So a lot of different things, you know, that people are looking at. You know, you got some mothers out there that been through so much in their life, but their mother, it's a cycle, you know, that they don't want to raise little girls. They want rather have the boys instead of girls.
Right. And you know, another thing we found strange is that through all the hearings with CPS, John, I never saw the name Darren Fence. Now, if these acts of molestation were going on, I wonder why Brittany did not sound the alarm during the CPS hearings, why Brittany did not call the police and say, he is molesting my child. He takes my child to daycare. Sometimes he don't leave, he bring her back, and he molests her. So all these things, it's hard for people to believe, because a mother would not have put up with none of this. I mean, I don't care how good he made love or what he had, a mother would have separated the two. And in separating the two, if that meant he had to move out, he had to move out, or if her child had to move out, then that would be the case. It's just so hard to believe that all of this was going on during hearings for CPS, and you never sounded the alarm. The only names that I saw when it comes to CPS and Maleah Davis was Craig Davis and Brittany Bowens. That was it. I never heard the name Darren Fence, and not to say it means he didn't do it, but I mean, wouldn't a mother have sounded the alarm in the courtroom?
Yeah, everybody said the same thing you said. They said, well, the mother sounded the alarm in the courtroom because this is your job. If he was molesting her daughter, why didn't she come out and speak? You know, why would she leave out of town and leave Maleah behind with a man that's beating her and molesting her?
Exactly.
You know, I don't know. I can't read her mind. I don't know what if it's true or not. You know, it's speculations, and so far, there's no proof that anyone have of him molesting her.
Exactly.
So we
Exactly.
don't know if it's true or not.
Right, right. And then, again with Brittany, later she sends out a post. I didn't tell Cornell X that. Well, I'm like, well, hell, you didn't stop him from saying it either, because I speak for people all the time, and I'm sure you do as well. When I speak for people, when I'm speaking, it's really them speaking through me. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I'm putting it into words so well they probably cannot put in, or where they won't get railroaded by the media, so to say. But if someone is speaking something that is not true, once you say something, you can't unsay what you said. You cannot take it back. So if he was telling a lie, Brittany, you had 1, 2, at least 3 or 4 opportunities next to him while you all were being interviewed to say, X, I didn't tell you that. Now you're lying. And so that's why it's hard to believe anything that
Yes, sir.
Brittany says. And even some of her classmates says, she was a liar in school and stuff. And I know some of these questions, that you cannot answer and stuff, but I'm just telling you how I feel. And most of the people that's watching tonight, they just want to know, how could you let it go on? Because it's almost like you condone it.
Yes, sir. That's what the whole public, everyone in the community throughout the world asked that same question, and everybody wanted her to speak, and I explained to her many times, it's like, hey, you got to speak out. People want to hear your voice,
Exactly.
And when it comes to a child that's missing or murdered, and you're a mother, the community want to hear you so they can support you and back you in every move you make.
Exactly.
But by you not speaking, even if you're innocent or not, people have their doubts, the suspicions behind why you're not speaking out. And I think that's the biggest thing she regret is not speaking out. And it got to the point that she don't feel safe going anywhere because she's the eye of Houston. Everybody knows who she is.
Exactly.
And even at the courthouse, people was attacking her. And that's what that is. So all the time that she didn't speak, she regrets not speaking for herself.
John, I gratefully appreciate you granting me this interview tonight. And I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again before we end. I applaud you. I appreciate what you do. People in Houston, Texas, they believe in you. Your word with them is good. And I've learned a long time ago, when somebody is counting on you, never let them down.
Yes, sir.
And I don't think you're ever going to let the people down. They believe in you. They're thankful for what you do, and I'm thankful for what you do as well. You have a kind spirit. You have a genuine concern for what's going on, and I believe you are going to be a lot of people's lifeline on planet Earth. You're going to be the heaven on Earth.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, and I thank you for what you've done because you've lost a child before.
Yes, my son was murdered. Yes, December 29, 2017, and I fought for my child. Fabian was not my biological son, but I raised him when he was 2 years old as my own son. I used to whip his butt all the time, but that's what you do to straighten him up. When my son was murdered, I didn't speak to the police for a whole month. I mean, we called them every single day. I mean, I called the office. It went to voicemail 3, 4 times a day. I went to the precinct 2, 3 times a week. No reply. We all called their cell phone and text every single day. No reply. A month later, the end of January of last year, Mr. John, can you guys come on in? We went to the office. We sat with for about 25 minutes before they showed up. They said, sir, we have nothing on your son's case. I said, I do. I went knocking on doors for my son.
Amen.
And pretty much even then, they told me in my face, we're not gonna worry about your son's case. We're gonna push Fabian's case to the back. I said, oh no, we're not gonna do that. I said, okay. I kept on calling once again, no reply, no reply, no reply. Got on the news several times. I said, let me go to City Hall. That's a very important factor you must know. If you go to City Hall to speak in front of your mayor and the city council member, something will done. Something will happen for you. You know, like right now, that's the reason why I started this. I started my little company because of my son. You know, today we went to court with Miss Sheila Douglas. Her son was murdered July 8th of last year, 2018. Two guys walked up and shot him in the back of the head. You know, when she was in court a few months ago, she was sitting next to the killer. She didn't even know the people who killed her son was sitting right behind her, three people over behind her.
My God.
She didn't know that.
Wow.
Today, she had a bag full of evidence with her son's clothes that she got once her son was murdered. They never picked up the bag from her. She just gave it to him today at court.
Wow.
Now in the morning, we go back to court again for the second person. Most likely they're gonna reset the court date again. But what we're doing in Houston, we're bringing awareness to these murder cases, these homicide cases that's not been solved.
Exactly.
We're trying to bring them back to light.
That's it.
You know, and it's a good thing we're doing that, because from a personal loss to many families that lost a loved one, we want answers. We can't bring them back, but we have to. I don't want to cry. We can't bring them back, but we can let their voices be heard. If you speak about your loved one, you will get answers eventually. Not today, maybe 10 years, 20 years from now. They have so much technology right now that's going to solve so many crimes. But it takes us to help the police also. We could bash the police all you want to bash them. It's not their fault our loved ones were murdered. It's not. On July 3rd, I'm getting a proclamation from the city of Houston. It's called a candlelight vigil for homicide victims. It's going to be held at Arthur Story Park in 9400 Southwest. I'm sorry. I'll put the information on my page later, but it's going to be a big thing for the city to come out and learn and love each other and learn and speak about your loved ones. But besides that, my prayers go out to everyone that lost a loved one out there. There's a lot of Maleahs out there that still could be saved right now.
Exactly.
You know, and as parents tonight, hold your kids, say you love them. Tell them the reason why you strict with them, why you whoop them sometimes, or pat them on the buttocks. But give them a reason why. Let them know that you're doing this for them, so they can live to see another day. And just be there for your kids.
Exactly. And I totally agree with that. My nephew was killed last year, October the 1st, and I never thought I would be doing a story about my loved one being killed. But the one thing I did, not every other day, every day, I'm talking with the DA, I'm talking with the police, and every day I'm doing a show somewhere about my nephew to bring his killer to justice. And you have to stay on them to let them know that somebody loved them, and we're not going to let you make this out to be a cold case or throw it to the side. So you're right. People have to get out there and let the officials know that we love this child. Get up off your butt, and let's go to work. And I think in about 10, 12 days, he was in custody.
Yes.
And he's still in custody now. He's charged with second-degree murder. So you can't wait for them to do everything. Get up off your butt, sound the alarm, like you just said, and let your voice be heard. And when they see you out there like that, you're bugging them. Well, eventually somebody will get up off their butt and do something, or somebody will call you with a tip.
Yes, sir.
And stuff. So if there's anything that we can do here on this end to help get some information out for you, brother, all you got to do is make the call, and I promise you, we will be more than happy to do that for you. Now, tell Brittany this for me, because I've been hard on Brittany. I've been extremely hard on Brittany. You tell Brittany that Scott said there is still an open invitation for Brittany. If she wants to come on the show, I would love to have her. I would do something normally that I don't do. Whatever she don't want to discuss, we won't discuss it. But let her know that the people want to hear from her, and whatever you don't want to talk about, heaven back me up, we won't do it. But there is that open invitation. And again, brother, I applaud you for what you do. I thank you for coming on the show. You are an amazing brother. Again, your name was going like 9,000. John. They believe in you, brother. So keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate the love and support. Really do.
You are indeed welcome. Anything you need us to get out in flyers or information, or anywhere you're speaking or doing anything, you call me and I promise you we're going to take care of it.
Yes, sir. Thanks again. I appreciate you having me on. Have a blessed night.
And you do the same. As always, we thank you all for tuning in to Injustice Investigation. As always, I'm not always right, and you are not always wrong. Scott, we'll see you on the radio.